Every once in a while an album comes along that really surprises me. And Weird Life by the Etienne Manchon Trio? Yeah, this one caught me off guard, but in a good way. The album was released not long ago on the 24th of January. It blends high energy jazz fusion with melodic grooves and some unexpected sounds. But is this a must listen for jazz fans? Let's break it down. Etienne Manchon does a fantastic job of leading this trio on the piano and the synths. And he's with Clement Daldosso on the double bass and Theo Mutu on the drums. It's obvious that these guys have a good chemistry. They do a fantastic job of taking risks but also staying rooted in traditional jazz. But let's talk about the real highlights, my top 3 tracks. The first track on the album, Regard Noir, is the track that really caught my attention and got me interested in this album and this trio. When I first heard the keys and the piano and the synths, it instantly took me back and it made me think of the legendary Brazilian pianist César Mariano. And trust me, this is definitely a good thing. The way that Etienne layered the piano with the synths when he's going off on his absolutely fantastic melodic soloing on this track really took me back to that sort of 1970s Brazilian jazz fusion flavor. And the high-paced drums that are delivered by Mutu and the whole sort of collective sound on this one was high energy, really exciting. To be honest, I really do wish that this album had more tracks that fell into this category, because I really do feel that this track in particular is the one that drew me in and really sort of hit the mark for me. We're talking chef's kiss on the sort of sound, the structure, the soloing, the talent, and all of the capability of this trio on display. I really do feel like this track is the tour de force here. And yeah, like I say, I wish there was a bit more of this particular sound laced within the album. If you're a fan of the duo DOMi and JD Beck, I think you'd like this one due to those characteristics I mentioned before, the high-paced drums, almost like drum and bass-esque drum type style, and then obviously the sort of speedy melodic keys, the synthetic sound mixed with the piano, layered up, textured up. I think, yeah, if you're a fan of those guys, this is a track that you will definitely warm to. Next up is the track Daldosso Donne Des Ailes, and if I'm getting the pronunciation wrong, excuse me, obviously it is French, so I'm doing my best, to get that right. But yeah, this track is another track that stood out for me. It takes things down a notch in terms of the energy, but this was a really lovely number. It's more laid back, but what really stood out for me on this track was the melody. If you think, obviously this track, it's like an instrumental jazz track, right? But if you think of the structure of the song as sort of verses and a chorus, the chorus melody section of this track is really fantastic. It's the star of the show in this case, and I really enjoyed listening to it. I think Etienne and the guys have really nailed this one in terms of hitting that big beautiful sounding chorus. Another thing to highlight on this track is the busy bass line that really does keep those verse sections of the track interesting throughout. This is the kind of track you can just sink into and vibe out with. And the third and final track that I want to talk about from this album that was a real highlight for me is the Big Up Catherine track. This one had a really cool dynamic. The way that Etienne bounced the sort of Rhodes electric piano off of the acoustic piano, almost as if the two pianos are having some kind of melodic conversation throughout the track. I found that really engrossing, really interesting. When you're listening to a track, sometimes you can get caught up in the vibe, and sometimes there can be the case of monotony where you just kind of get a little bit bored of the groove. With this one, where I say they have that sort of melodic conversation between the the keys, it really does make this track remain interesting throughout. The contrast between the acoustic sound and the electric sound really does give this track a unique character, and it makes it one of the most alluring tracks on the album. Overall, Weird Life is an album full of surprises. High energy moments are there, but also more melodic, introspective moments are available to you on the album. While I personally wish there were more tracks in the style of Regard Noir on this project, there's still plenty to love here. If you're into jazz fusion, modern jazz piano trios, or you're just looking for something fresh, this is worth a listen. Now I want to hear from you guys. Have you listened to Weird Life yet? If so, what was your favorite track on the album? Also, if you have some jazz album recommendations, be sure to drop a comment below this video. Also, if you liked the video, remember to click the like button and subscribe to the channel. I'd like to thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace.